Hello, my name is Eddie Mullins, and I'm here with Gary Roberts, the varsity softball coach. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Last season, you finished 2-5 in the HHC. What have you and your team been doing in the off season to beat those teams?
We started conditioning 3 days a week.
Mhm.
We condition with baseball, so we're in there early on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Uh, we've upped our hitting game by buying a new pitching machine that throws 65 and over. So that's what we need to see, and we proved that Tuesday night at work since we've been Hamilton Southeastern. So, just the girls are a year older. We didn't have any seniors graduate, so it's a experienced squad.
Yeah, I know that you also have like a youth camp during the off season.
Mhm.
What aspects do you mainly focus for like those kids?
Well, we started working with the rec league here in town, and not only that, we have the middle school girls up during our open gyms in the wintertime. And what we want them to focus on is mostly fundamental softball.
Mhm.
Too many rec league coaches just want to win, and when they get to us, we have to reteach everything that they should have already known before they got here. So that's what we've been focused on. That, and with the middle school, we try to have them bring players in that are not just one-dimensional. Like, I have a whole bunch of people who can just play first base,
Mhm.
but we need them to be able to be sufficient in at least two different positions.
Yeah, your team does face like tough opponents, especially in the HHC. How do you prepare for those to beat those teams barely having any time to practice?
I'll tell you, this group of girls right now, we got punched in the mouth Monday night, and it's how you react from getting punched like that. You can either give up, or say we're not that good, or you can come back and fight. And they came back and fought. And you'll see that, I think, this year from them. They really want to take the conference, and they really want to take sectionals. That's all they talk about. So if you believe it, if you say it and believe it, it can be done.
Yeah, looking at your roster, it definitely does look pretty identical from last year. What expectations do you have for this year's team?
Well, I've told the AD, I've toughened up the schedule. We only have maybe 2 games that are going to be where we're going to run over somebody, but I've made it so competitive that we're going to be in a dogfight every day, and that's by design. Because when we get to sectionals and when we get to our conference plays, mostly backloaded, we'll have seen a lot of good pitching and a lot of good teams, so we'll be ready for that.
Yeah, you have lots of talented players on your. You have lots of talented players on varsity since like their freshman year, like Josie White, Savannah Ryle, Kirsten Weiniger.
Yep.
What qualities do they have to make them such a good leader and player?
They are very competitive amongst themselves. They want to win. They play high-level travel ball, and I expect the rest. They help the other girls on the roster get to where they need to be mentally. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah, you've been coaching for some time now, going around the whole country, coaching travel ball, rec leagues, even coaching at Shelbyville.
Yep.
What are some coaching techniques you have learned over the years?
The biggest thing I've learned about girls is you have to know every girl individually. I mean, it's not a blanket thing where you can talk to each one of them as a group. Sometimes you have to take one of them aside and talk to them privately. Other ones, like, I won't mention any names, but some of them you can chew out pretty good, and they're good with that. They understand it. But coaching girls is a whole lot different than coaching guys. And I tried coaching guys, and I didn't really like it. So just be honest with them. I try to make sure that I talk to them about other things besides softball, so that they know I'm not just interested in them as a player, but I'm interested in their grades and what their future plans are and stuff like that. So making them believe that they're important to you is a big part of that.
Yeah, are there any types of coaching techniques that you use differently from like travel ball compared to high school?
Travel ball, you're kind of obligated to play them because they're paying to be here.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up here. I don't know anybody here. So whatever they get, they earn in practice.
Yeah. But over the years, how has the coaching culture changed from when you started in 1999 until present day?
I think there's more talented coaches out there right now. A lot of travel ball coaches are now high school coaches, and you see, better teams. I think, as an example, we have a lot of kids in the SEC, which is probably the best softball conference in the nation, from our area. There's a couple from Shelbyville, there's some from New Pal. And that's pretty hard because when I was in Alabama, they play 78 games a year.
That's crazy.
And here we play 28, and they're exposed to a lot of college coaches down there because they're playing so long. So it's we're at a disadvantage here, but we're starting to get noticed as not only as a conference, but in this greater Indianapolis area with Rothrock coming out of Roncalli and going to Florida and be the #1 starter. That means a lot to the kids around this area because coaches are starting to find out, college coaches, that there are some very good softball players here in this area.
Yeah. You've been around for some time now. What are some tips that you give to your athletes before like going out to the mound?
Just focus. Don't listen to that little voice on your head.
Oh, yeah.
In your head that says, I can't do that. And that's one of the key things for girls is self-esteem and not listen to that little voice that says, I can't do this.
Yeah, you also had really good players come from this program like Faith Butler, Olivia Roberts.
Yep.
What are some things that you've learned from watching them and interpreted into your practice?
Liv was a great center fielder, and she did everything right out there. And, we have Addie Heron out there now, and she's a lot like her. So just pointing out little things here and there to them that I've seen in the past. Or our coaches are both travel ball coaches, and they throw little things at them that they've seen. But sometimes they'll come back from college camps with little drills that they've done, and we'll incorporate them into our practices. So.
What are some coaching aspects that you bring into the HHC that other coaches in the HHC don't have?
Relatability, I hope. I don't ever want a player not to feel like they can't come and talk to me about any situation that they have. Some coaches don't want to answer questions, but you have to look them in the eye and let them know that you're listening to them, because that's what they want to. They want to be heard, and they want an answer from you.
Yeah. You have lots of back-to-back games like this season. How do you keep your players motivated, like to keep on pushing?
It's not hard to motivate this group. Oh, yeah. They love to play. They would play every day, and if we rain out, they're mad. They really are. They get upset, and tomorrow doesn't look good, and they're going to be mad.
Yeah, I know that you moved out of Indiana for a while to Alabama. What inspired you to come back to Indiana and coach softball?
During COVID, my granddaughter was 4 years old, and she came down and cried all the way home.
Oh, really?
And so I asked my wife, I said, so if we could move back tomorrow, would you do it? And she said, oh, yeah, definitely. So we packed up and moved back. And originally I was trying to move back to Shelbyville, and I couldn't find anything. And I ended up buying a house right next to the baseball field here. So,
yeah.
And then I knew the previous coach for a number of years, and he asked me if I'd join the staff, and I said, yeah, and here I am.
Yeah. You've been coaching for 34 years now and coached great teams throughout your coaching career. What is so special about this team that other teams that you coached didn't have?
This team this year has that look that they want to do special things, and they talk about it a lot. So if you don't have to motivate them to do that, and they're doing it on their own, that's key.
Yeah.
And after they won that game the other night, that, I think, lit a fire in them that they think now that they can play with anybody in the state.
How has coaching kept you young and going?
I'm out here every day. I'm out here a lot. I'm retired, so I'm out here a lot. Like Monday or Tuesday, I had 28,000 steps.
28,000?
Yes. So I don't do my infield. I have a coach that takes care of the infield, and I have a coach that takes care of the outfield, and I take care of the pitchers. And I'm always active. I'm not the kind of guy that just sits in the house and watches TV. I'm always doing something. And being out here working on the field or whatever I need to do, I'm doing during softball season. And it's kind of a year-round thing, so it keeps me healthy, keeps me active, and hopefully I don't get any heavier than I am.
Yeah. How has softball evolved into,
it's an ever-changing game. For a while it was all about slap hitters, a lot of speed, and then it switched back to power, and then it was a pitching game. So you've got to evolve with the way it's flowing. And if you can't change, then you probably should get out. And if you feel like you know everything about this game, you need to get out of it because it changes a little bit all the time.
Yeah.
Your players change, the way they condition, the I guess what motivates them changes. Some of them want to play in college, some of them just want to be with their friends, but it's always changing, and you got to change with it.
Yeah. How would you like your lasting legacy to be remembered?
Just that we put together some good teams, and the girls always gave 100% on the field.
Yeah.
And were respectful off the field and represented this high school in a way that the community and the administration's proud of.
Well, thank you, Gary Roberts, for coming out here and talking with me.
Great to see you.
Yep.